What's it like being normal? Tell me about that.
You're immune to ghost types, for one.
Oh, well, what if you're scrappy?
You're still immune to ghost types if you're scrappy.
Shoot, no, wait, no. What if the ghost?
No, the ghost can hit you. Okay, look, it's when you're normal and you're scrappy. You don't have to be normal to be You just use normal in fight moves against ghost type.
Yeah, but like, what if you're ghost and scrappy? Wait, no.
You can do the same
Sorry,
thing.
no,
You're
wait.
confusing me and yourself.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Double Dip Draft. I am Cabral, coach of the hash-slinging Aegis Slashers. Joining me today
Is Spoon, coach of the South Thousand Slashers.
Let's go! We have quite a few matches to talk about in week 2. We're coming off a pretty, I would say, standard, week 1. We have a couple 4-3s, and by a couple I mean 1-4, 1-3, 4-1s, some negative, some positive.
Respectfully, I'm going to 100% disagree with you. At the end of week 1, every match in Rocket was an upset. Like, by seed, Aurora lost to Black Captain, which was not supposed to happen. Bananas lost it to Nihilus. By seed, that's not supposed to happen. Menma lost to Liz. By seed, that's not supposed to happen. ASCII lost to Goober. By seed, that's not supposed to happen. All 4 matches in Rocket were upsets. The bracket is literally upside down. We're in bizarro wrong world. It doesn't look right at the end of week 1. So
yeah,
that makes it really exciting. I think Rocket is just what was it, like Violet had this, or
I yes, forget, was it Violet or Teal?
No, Teal had the 2 buys. So
I think it was Violet then.
Violet, and there was also the I think it was Crown maybe back in the day. Like, there's always just one division that's just like insane every year, and this, I already see Rocket becoming that division,
you're
especially after this.
Right.
Talk about.
You did not fall into my trap, because I was going to be like, the scores are normal looking, but you completely caught me with the upsets, because you're so right.
Sorry, didn't mean to. Actually, I didn't realize you were going somewhere with that. It's wrong.
No, it's good. You're good, but you're so right, because we have basically 2 new players out of nowhere on the upper end of, the player's been here a while. Nihilus is in 4th, and he does really well. We've talked about that before in the past, and he's at the bottom of the top 4. That's so engaging and interesting, and I'm so excited to see what this week brings, because we have some really fun matchups. We get to see, the new players again, how they do against some bigger players. Sunshine State Smolivs fights the Hoensbroek Hunters. That's huge. Like, Aurora can come back from the bottom, can start getting differential in points as we go into the season. I'm certain Bananas is also looking for a win, just to be able to pick up some more score as well, because as we go on, as we have stated every season, early on, all these points, all these matches really matter.
The thing is, there's never a week where they don't matter, except maybe towards the end when, like, some people are guaranteed out, and it's just for pride. But especially, like, I don't know, so the thing is, like, week 1, you can almost write it off, even if it's a bad upset. But week 2, like, going into week 3 at 0-2 is tough, because now you don't have wiggle room, especially if you lose 3 matches. Like, you're in the danger zone. If you lose 4, you're
usually
hoping
you're out
that you
at
make
that
it.
point with different.
Usually you're out. Yeah, so it's tough right now, and not to spoil, but we do end up with at least one person at 0-2 after this week. So why don't you take us to the first match, and we can start talking about those?
Absolutely. I gotta stop playing with these nail clippers. Let me go ahead and get started over on our first match. We have Menma of the Minnesota Jynx versus ASCII of the Philadelphia Phantumps. Both these players have been with us now for 3 seasons?
This is Menma's 3rd, I think, not counting off seasons, and ASCII's second, without counting off seasons. That is what I believe to be the case. I can look that up and double check it, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
And I think the roughest part of this, looking at team preview, is honestly, Menma has a great team into ASCII's team. I see a lot of struggle for ASCII in this kind of matchup.
This, with all due respect, because I don't even really think this is a problem with ASCII's team building necessarily, this might be the worst matchup I've ever seen. Like, looking at this, it is like, dude, Coco, unless you want to severely nerf its electric type power, just gives free Quark Drive to Iron Valiant. You can't even stop your Mega Charizard from giving Sun like photosynthesis to Roaring Moon, unless you just don't Mega Evolve it, and then you're just a 0-item Charizard with like way worse stats. What's it called? The Iron Moth Speed Ties Starmie.
Yep.
He has such a hard time breaking through Melmetal, even with Victory Dance, like Axe Kick or whatever on Hisui and Lilligant.
And like Pecharunt being
everything
right
on Memphis
there
team just owns him. It's so bad.
And Pecharunt is also so difficult because Ghost Poison, you look, okay, Lucario's there. Well, what's he going to do? Hit it with a fighting type move? And then you have Lilligant Hisui, which is grass fighting. Against Ghost Poison, it's like, well, click Poison move or click Ghost move, it hits you back. How do you hit it?
Right, it resists one of your stabs, it is immune to the other, and even, again, after a Victory Dance, like, Pecharunt has the defensive bulk, Melmetal has the defensive bulk, even Mega Camerupt can be kind of annoying to hit without Water Stab, which is completely absent on ASCII's side. So, this is really hard for ASCII. I honestly don't know how you win this.
It's an uphill battle for sure, and I think the only way to actually see how this goes is to watch the match. You see Charizard lead, which makes sense. Camerupt is a fun lead.
Yep. Megazard Y early, he's just committing to maybe giving photosynthesis to Roaring Moon to get the better... Whoops, nope, it's dead.
No, it's dead. I mean, that thing has Sheer Force also, so it didn't even get the Omni Boost option.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the only special Rock-type move it gets. I'd have to double-check, but I wouldn't be surprised. Not that it matters, because obviously if you're running Rock coverage, it's really only going to be for Charizard here.
And Parting Shot on Pecharunt's so good, and it's like you have to switch out. And Close Combat to a Fairy type doing 51% of its health is insane.
Valiant's so strong. And Coco, I mean, honestly, wisely, I think, did not bring Electric Surge, because if he did, then Valiant just rolls his entire team, basically.
Yeah. This thing taking 42% from a flamethrower is also insane. Yuxi is not super bulky. We do see Yonstrats here. Could be fun to keep kind of spamming this, but rocks are set up, and it's like, what do you do against that? Rocks are
Yuxi does get value, with the Yawns and the rocks and the knocks. So everything is doing something. So that's at least good, but. This is really, every time ASCII winds up in a bad position, he has to sack something. And it's hard not to wind up in a bad position, because everything is so strong into him,
Defog coming in to take away his own rocks as well, which is kind of a shame.
Yeah. But he needs them gone, because he doesn't want to take 25 on Iron Moth, know?
That thing taking 51% from an Earth power is bonkers.
Yeah, Pecharunt doesn't... I mean, I'm pretty sure it's a choice Lilligant, and... Again, either switch out and let something get two-shot, or stack. He does get the crit crunch, which does matter, and takes out Pecharunt. But again, just what are you supposed to do? This is so hard. This is so hard.
I'm surprised we didn't see a close combat earlier from Lucario with Terra to hit Melmetal. I know it probably doesn't OHKO, but it's some good chip on it.
But that's what I'm saying, is if it doesn't one-shot, he gets one-shot back, and that is the case for basically everything.
Yeah.
And at this point, even with super effective coverage, it's highly unlikely Iron Moth actually one-shots Starmie, and I don't know, maybe it could have done something. It depends on if it was Sash or whatever, maybe Discharge or Bug Buzz or something could have done
it's
something.
It's not Sash,
but...
it is, it was Quark Drive. But,
No, I'm talking about Starmie.
Oh, Starmie, yeah.
Because it came in at full, there was no rocks. So it's, I don't know, this is ASCII, if ASCII was going to win this against Menma, given just how bad that matchup looked, he was going to have to be making pretty much dead accurate read every turn, and there was just no way that you were going to make 20 right calls in a row,
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is it's the matchup in general just is not in ASCII's favor for this week, with the Pokemon that were brought and everything that Menma has to offer with his very powerful Roaring Moon, which did not come out at all, by the way. Iron Valiant and Starmie. The speed alone on those Pokemon. Yes, we do have Iron Moth there, Tapu Koko, which are fairly fast. Lilligant's very fast, so is Lucario. But those three of Starmie, Roaring Moon, Valiant Heart go fast, hit really hard.
Valiant Heart.
Really very hard.
Shoutouts to Metropic Valiant Heart reference.
Let's go.
It's actually called Iron Valiant.
Sorry, forgive me. Iron Valiant, my bad.
Yeah, that was hard. That was just really hard for ASCII. I mean, I think he played fine. He tried to salvage it in places that he could. He did some tune-ups. He got it to 4-0. I mean, it could have very easily been a 6-0.
Yeah.
There's just not even anything to say about this. Like, ASCII just got rolled, and I don't really see realistically how he could have not gotten rolled here.
Yeah.
But we've got more matches that are not quite so lopsided, don't we? Because next up we have got, you introduced the last one. I get this one.
Yeah.
We have got Black Captain Rehai of the Martian Mantines against Nihilus of the Dallas Duckletts. Both of them coming into this 1-0, looking pretty strong. Black Captain and Nihilus, again, both of them beating the top 2 seeds in the division, respectively. So this is going to be interesting. Whoever wins this looks incredibly good for getting into playoffs, even this early, like with the tiebreak potential and those early upsets. Like, as long as they stay consistent, they don't have just like a totally, messed up season. One of these guys is almost a lock for getting in.
Yeah, and both of them have some solid teams. We see Tinkaton come for the first time this season, which is really cool. I see Smeargle back there. Love Smeargle, very funny. And then, of course, Urshifu, it's there. It does its thing. It hits hard. It kills you often. Slowking Galar with Chili Reception is so fun. I really wanted that this season. I could not get it this season because someone sniped it from me. Couldn't tell you who.
Someone, who knows.
Araquanid, though. Great lead, sets up sticky webs, which might not be necessarily against Nihilus' team here. Not a ton of speed, except for Nihiligo over there. And then Garganacl. I love the funny Salt Rock. I just like it. It's funny. It's there. It recovers. Salt Cure's stupid. Its ability is stupid. It doesn't die, and it's kind of stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would say that I love Garganacl, but it is quite a good Pokemon. Salt Cure, really good. Goes more or less unresisted into this team without a covert cloak. I mean, just the game plan is always going to be good from Black Captain. Just slow Chili Reception into a safe switch for Urshifu and kill something.
Yeah.
Nihilus has some tools, and especially even if you keep it full, like, Tinkaton can be kind of threatening and won't die in one hit. In general, like, Mega Kangaskhan can do okay as long as Garganacl's out of the picture, but in general, yeah, I mean, just Black Captain's like that top end core of Single Striker Shifu and Galarian Slowking is like so tough to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we just got to see how tough it is to deal with as we get started here in the match with Urshifu leading and Nihiligo. I mean, that kind of makes sense, and that thing is Scarfy.
See ya. Not Sash. I mean, that's an instant Scarf reveal, and I think he figures Smeargle's going to be Sash, which is true. So.
Shell Smash is insane.
Smash.
I love the Shell Smash tech. That's so funny.
This is such a goofball Smeargle. I do really like it.
Yeah. Tinkaton's being surprisingly bulky, by the way, to take only like 34 from an Earthquake from Slowking.
Yep. I like the double from Nihilus, but again, Galarian Slowking doesn't really even have to try that hard to just, get an advantage.
Yeah.
With Regenerator, Chili Reception, and just its bulk. And again, Nihilus is like, well, what do I give this thing? Everything gets two-shot,
Yep, and there's no ghost types on Nihilus' team, so it's like close combat's so free.
The problem is, like, Nihilus has access to Golurk and Deoxys defense, but they both also still lose to Urshifu because of its dark typing, and because Wicked Blow bypasses defensive stat changes, you can't even, like, brute force it with, like, an iron defense Deoxys. Like, it's just Urshifu, man. Urshifu's so good.
Yeah. We do see the Terra finally come out, return doing 12% to...
big reveal that it's just the Rocky Helmet doing more in damage than Garganacl takes.
That's so painful. Mold Breaker is really fun on Tinkaton because that does get rid of the ability here, which is... What is it?
Purifying Salt.
Good.
Purifying Salt.
Yeah.
I was just saying, yeah.
Which prevents... It halves damage of Ghost type moves and prevents status, if I remember correctly.
Yep, so you can, in fact, paralyze this, which normally would not be possible. And this is good because Tinkaton's getting a lot of paralysis being spread around now, and Niall's kind of working off the back foot here. Unfortunately, with the Terra, this thing is also susceptible to being Thunderwaved and does, in fact, get Thunderwaved.
Yeah, it's really a shame.
Yeah, there's really no downside to bring in Hydreigon here.
You got a Para earlier on it, too. Probably was going to click full switch, I imagine. Again, doing doubling, which is really
Niall's doubles correctly. It's really good on his end. Gigaton Hammer
53 with a Gigaton Hammer is insane. Covert
Covert Cloak reveal.
Yep.
It's just good. I mean, I think the Tinkaton got, frankly, MVP status because it got so much work done this whole game.
Yeah, great use of Tinkaton there. And Nihilus at this point is, down quite a few Pokemon with just 2 left, and Black Captain still having 5 Pokemon. Maybe a little greedy here, but probably not necessarily greedy.
He's screwed anyway. I mean, he can't really kill Garganacl with either of his remaining Pokemon, so it's just a matter of when that happens.
Yeah.
But he does manage to actually kill the Urshifu, spoiler alert, with +4 population bomb.
Which is insane.
Because Smeargle does get Technician, so it gets the same boost that Mousehold gets, and it gets stabbed, so...
Yeah. Calling the Recover out, that's really funny. Ceaseless Edge.
Yep.
Rocky Helmet.
Doesn't accomplish much. You don't even get the spikes because you die before the spikes go off in that scenario. And just for good measure, no Paraflinch for you. Yeah. No double Rock Slide. It was just impossible, I think, at that point. I think maybe, the Smeargle was pretty cute, but it probably would have done better if it were more proactively getting, spikes up, because he revealed, Black Captain revealed that it was not boots on Slowking, so that could have gotten chunked pretty hard by entry hazards, and then obviously with the Scarf or Shifu, that would have also been getting chunked by entry hazards, so maybe it could have brought a few more things into range, and I don't know, but that was tough, and I mean, it's another example of the matchup is pretty hard on paper because everything Nihilus has that would normally be able to switch into a fighting type move is weak to Wicked Blow.
Yeah, and again, Black Captain with the combination of Slowking being able to Chilly Reception into Urshifu is so stunning. Because again, what does Nihilus do looking at this team against Urshifu? It's got dark and fighting type moves. Everything here either dies to a dark move or a fighting type move, or is neutral like Tinkaton to a fighting type move, but Tinkaton is not super bulky. It's got decent bulk, but it's not a very bulky Pokemon.
Tinkaton is being asked to fill so many roles in this matchup. It needs to be topped off for Garganacl. It needs to be topped off for Urshifu. Ideally, it's topped off for Galarian Slowking. There's just a limited amount of Tinkaton to go around, and it has to do everything, And unfortunately, I mean, it gets a lot of value. I mean, he makes it, he makes it work, but not enough to overcome just the everything about Black Captain's draft. And he's looking very nice now, sitting at that 2-0.
Oh, yeah. And we'll get to the scores here in just a second. But, we got 2 more matches to go over, and I want to introduce the next one because you got the last one.
Please do.
We have Bananas of the Don't Drop That Dedennes and new player Goober Trooper of the Bidwell Bees. Goober Trooper having a incredible first match, and by incredible I mean there's a couple things that happened, but we got to see Goober play, and he's really got an understanding, I think, of the game, and he's really picking it up, and we see a lot of promise coming out of him for being a new player to Double Dip Draft and newer to Showdown Singles in general. Bananas, of course, being a veteran of the overall league, I would say at this point, not veteran, but a staple of the league. There we go.
This is his 3rd season, so he's a returning character, and again, somebody who, one of very few people who have actually taken an entire main season of Double Dip Draft. Yeah. So a huge threat.
Yeah, for sure. And we have huge threats on both of their teams. Goober's team full of sweepers. Every Pokemon there can sweep by itself, which is insane. And the Bananas, of course, was Aegislash from last week. I love that Iron Bundle gets covered up by the wings of Altaria on occasion. This little animation we're looking at, so you can just kind of see him a little bit.
He's like, "Don't look at my friend."
And then Reuniclus here, who we've seen last over 100 turns in a match. And just the way Bananas plays is really good. So I'm very excited for this match, and we really get to see Goober go through his, pacings. Is that the right term I'm thinking of? I don't know.
Put it through its paces?
Yeah, there we go. See Goober get put through his paces or something along those lines. Can't remember the exact vernacular. Maybe I'm just getting too old now.
Well, Goober has a team that is honestly pretty hardcore hyper offense to the extent that like it probably could benefit from some screens or some more like hazard support. But I mean, for what it is right now, like he does have a rock setter in Arcanine that can also double as just an insane hyper offense, like recoil move, flame charge, sweeper. Obviously, Mega Beedrill, everybody knows, and Moltres has proven its own problem for people in the past. And Goober, I mean, looked pretty good coming out of week 1 against, I believe, ASCII.
Yes.
So this is, Goober coming in at 1-0, Bananas coming in at 0-1. By seed, Bananas is supposed to win this pretty easily, and he's definitely going to want that win, because if he drops 2 back-to-back upsets this early in the season, it's going to be really tough for him going forward.
Yeah. I think the only thing we can do now at this point is just go ahead and take a look at the match as we get started. Moltres lead, and we have a Gligar lead on top of that. Probably going to see Rocks here, I imagine. Oh, look, Rocks.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, Goober just immediately going for some early, chip with this setup, and Gligar with the flinch is getting forced to take over 60 just to move out.
Yeah. Bananas doing a Mega and Substitute is really crazy, actually, because obviously U-turn takes it away, but it's just a very scary thing to think about because how do you hit that thing?
It forces an offensive answer, and it was incredibly brave of Goober to go in the way that he did there to Beedrill, because if Altaria clicked anything, it would have died.
Yeah.
And here, that's such a good switch in. Balloon Aegislash is just so good into Landorus, and Bananas did it. Yeah. And Goober makes a great read here. He actually plays really well around the King Shield this whole game.
Very well done there. Head smash knocking out Gligar, which is nice. Tentacool coming in. Probably going to get rid of the Rocks, I imagine, with the Rapid Spin. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, he's expecting Goober to switch out. And I mean, honestly, Rockhead Head Smash would have done quite a lot of damage to this thing. It's not the most physically bulky thing in the world.
Yeah, Rockhead just hits everything really hard.
Yeah, Head Smash goes crazy into this team. It's just hard, especially now that Gligar's out of the way. And you see they pop the double Terra, and with the loaded dice, the Bullet Seed confirms the 2-hit KO every time.
Yeah, Return doing 48% damage is crazy.
Yeah. Now, this is an example of a moment where, maybe if Bananas had actually hit sub again, this could have just been the entire game, and because he leaves himself exposed for Spore. And Goober plays this way too passively. He puts this to sleep, and then he stays in to get another synthesis off instead of going into maybe Mega Beedrill or Cloyster a turn sooner. But, I mean, Bananas is still afraid of the Cloyster and does, in fact, get out of there.
Yeah, we do see Shell Smash come out, which is a terrifying thing, but, this thing is known for shadow sneaking, so...
Yeah, it's priority, man. It's always priority. But then Goober plays again. Bananas hopes that he will predict the King Shield and will go for Rocks again, putting him in 2-shot range of Shadow Sneak, but he doesn't, and he gets the read right both times. And then here, unfortunately for Goober, this thing is Choice Scarfed. It is not Quark Drive speed, so he could not tell that it was faster than his Beedrill, and learns the hard way.
Yeah. No Omni Boost from the Ancient Power either.
I doubt it would have helped, to be honest.
Yeah.
He should have done, Air Slash. Try to fish for some more flinches. Goober thought he was playing to his outs there. We talked about this afterward. He didn't really think about the flinch as being a way to maybe get out of this situation.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, he needed a lot more crits on that Bullet Seed to to kill that thing.
And that's something earlier where, when he was in on this and had his sleep, clicking Bullet Seed then would have brought this down. We see how much it brought it low. Crit was nice and everything, but it still would have been nice to get some of that chip off earlier, right?
Yeah. It's tough, because Goober's team is super, incredibly aggro. It's a lot of, frail, fast, hard-hitting Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And, usually that kind of team benefits from, really aggressive hazard support or screen support or whatever. But I don't think his draft is built quite with optimizing for hyper offense in mind, but it's clear that seems to be the playstyle that he's kind of leaning towards. So might be worth on his end maybe looking for a trade for a good maybe Prankster Screen Setter or something.
Ooh, that could be really fun for his team actually. And again, we don't see a ton of trades overall. throughout the weeks, which is kind of sad. I would love to see a few more. We've seen a couple here and there, but like, it's really fun when you get some of the mix-ups in the teams and people see advantages of other Pokemon as they've been presented or whatever it is, right? Because that's still part of Draft League. Trade away some Pokemon, get some new ones to just mix up your whole draft and make people in the later weeks think about what to actually do against you.
Yeah, you can identify maybe Pokemon that people would be open to trade that could do well into the rest of your division. Because obviously when you draft, we don't reveal the divisions until after the draft is over. So you can't counter team then, but you can kind of, quote unquote, counter team by finding somebody who has a good matchup into your division with maybe one of their high tiers or mid tiers or whatever, and finessing a little trade. And I think more people should try and do that. But obviously, the downside is not only do you kind of grow sentimentally attached, at least I do with the Pokemon in my draft. I kind of just don't want to give them away.
Yeah.
But I also tend to find that you get more comfortable with your draft, and that is a really important part of playing with your draft. If you get 3, 4, 5 weeks of experience with a Pokemon, maybe you don't want to give it up because now you know how it plays, and maybe it was bad early on in the season, but now that you get it, now that you're clicking with it, it might work a little better. There's no perfect answer. I think that, there's a lot of depth to trading that goes unexplored, but it might be something that Goober might want to consider, because even with, no crazy good support, just hitting those powerful buttons in front of Bananas, it brought him down to a 3-0. He was close to killing that Altaria, and, if he played one or two things differently, it could have been tough for Bananas to stop, every single possible sweeping opportunity, because, Moltres out of the picture, you still got Shell Smash, Cloyster. Cloyster out of the picture, you still got Sheer Force, Dual Dance, Landorus, Life Orb, whatever.
Beedrill's right there, too.
And Mega Beedrill doesn't need any kind of setup or fancy move. It just Mega Evolves and hits the U-turn or Poison Jab or Fell Stinger if you're, real brave about it. So it was good. I mean, I thought that showed some promise from Goober, but it definitely exposed where some of the weaknesses were in his game plan. But again, like you say, with his background being so old and having not played seriously since Pokemon Smowdown 10 years ago, he was doing very solid to Bananas. And Bananas, to his credit, not only played last round really well, I thought, even though he lost to Nihilus, he kept his wits about him this time. Again, it would have been so easy to get bowled over by just 6 insanely hard-hitting setup Pokemon. But he always had an answer in the back, and he obviously thought through his game plan. And a lot of the tech, like that air balloon and the pursuit on Aegislash, and it was just all really nice.
Yeah.
From Bananas' end, just super clean.
Yeah, for sure. But hey, there's one more to go still.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you about it. It is Aurora of the Hoensbroek Haunters versus Liz of the Sunshine State Smolivs. This is another interesting one where Aurora, somebody who should have won her week 1, did not. And Liz, someone who, again, by seed should not have won her week 1, did win it. So we're looking at Aurora coming in at a bit of a deficit. Liz coming in, frankly, with a little bit of wiggle room. And this is the match to lose. If you're going to lose to anybody, you can afford to lose to Aurora, because given how high her seed is, even if you say, this is a mulligan, I'm not going to win this match, it's okay, because then you have, 5 other opponents who are seeded lower that you have a better chance of beating, in theory.
Yeah.
So, Liz coming into this fairly comfortable, Aurora coming into this somewhat precariously, because if she risks a back-to-back upset loss, then again she's going to have a really tough time clawing back. I mean, she can do it. Again, she's top seed in the division for a reason, but it's going to not be nearly as straightforward of a division as she maybe hoped it would on paper.
Yeah, and both of these teams, looking at the team preview real quick, are actually really good. There's counters to each other here. Annihilape is a stunning Pokemon that does a lot of it hits hard, does things that are really scary, and I also see Steelix also on Liz's team, and Steelix, thinking about it being Steel Ground and it being a Mega Steelix, what does Naganadel do that really hits Mega Steelix?
Yeah, Naganadel stabs are not going to break Steelix, even with a Beast Boost and a special attack or a Nasty Plot. She's going to have to be relying on Flamethrower, and Flamethrower is maybe at best going to be two-shotting it with no other interference, so this is kind of what's interesting and difficult about both of their teams, and kind of a fun dynamic that I have noticed in draft. Annihilape and Naganadel, both incredibly strong 10-pointers that are just totally cracked, really great Pokemon. They're so good that you're going to gear your entire team towards beating that guy, which means that they're almost bad in a way, because as long as Mega Steelix is alive, Liz is going to be fine trading her Steelix for Naganadel. Conversely, you see, just to give a little spoiler, like Scrappy Pangoro, which maybe usually would like to run Iron Fist instead, it's Scrappy so that it can close combat into Annihilate, which ends up bringing Annihilate kind of out of the game halfway through. And so you notice that, like, Aurora says, I will trade my Pangoro for Annihilate, I'm fine with that. Liz says, I will trade my Mega Steelix for Naganadel, I'm fine with that. Suddenly those Pokemon are a little bit less splashable, a little bit less safe.
Yeah, and again, that's what's so fun about looking at all the teams we went over in the team previews, and also just like the whole analysis of each team, because they're all dynamic in their own right. Each of these teams does things differently. And that's what's fun about just playing Pokemon in general, you know, because everyone has their funny little dudes that they like. Because, like, you know, you talk about Pokemon we get attached to. I love Bramblegast. That comes from last time I played Double Dip.
Yeah. No, you and I have similar, because I did that with Palisand. You know, it's just such a dumb, like, a nothing burger Pokemon, except when you use it and it does well, you're like, oh, that's my little guy, you know? He's fighting his heart out. Like, I gotta love him, you know?
Yeah. But let's get into it with the last match, and we can talk about where everyone ends up in the standings. Swampert lead is, honestly, I mean, even Latios lead, these are both great. And we see screens coming up from Liz, which is a great option, because we already know how hard Aurora's Pokemon hit with Pangoro and Naganadel right there.
Yeah, screens are really nice, and it's a good shakeup from week 1. Also, it's a 6, which I love the Dark type blocking pranks or defog. I don't know if she did that on purpose. I'm kind of guessing probably not. But still, the fact that she gets to keep her screens is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard, you know, to think about it in terms of, you know, like, Latios could be this, like, crazy setup, weakness policy stored power sweeper, but it also could just put up screens and Tailwind and be like a support Pokemon. Also, you see here the Energy Ball into the Rindo Berry just barely allows Swampert to live.
Yeah. I don't know what the roll was on that.
I don't know either, it looked close, but I'm guessing Aurora calced it before doing that.
Yeah.
And you see just Fushigi Snake. Fushigi Snake is fine. Reflect goes away, and close combat, again, showing up for 50. Oops. And now Liz is like, that's okay, I'll go. Don't worry about me.
Aurora just sacking Swampert because at that point, something's taking Moonblast. Terra Fairy.
Yeah, Terra Fairy to survive that Moonblast, and it's Aurora. I mean, like, she also has Cryogonal as a potential Terra Captain here, but it's not doing that great into this team, so I think it's definitely appropriate to.
I was a little surprised at Liz's switch out after losing Scarf, because Pangoro, has Bullet Punch. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you don't want to risk getting Bullet Punch. That's the right call.
Yep.
Yep. Cryogonal, also another turn of it just kind of not, you know, doing much, and then, Liz goes for the nice mid-ground knockoff, hits everything, including the Cassive Berry, which is there to prevent a Ghost-type hit from Annihilate from instantly killing it and allowing it to revenge kill.
And we're just playing to her out here at this point, just clicking U-turn, sacking Cryogonal, coming in, letting Toxic do its job, and just clicking U-turn to get to a point of Draco Meteor where we can get that knocked out. And Aurora down to 2 Pokemon still, but it's not over at this point. So just trying to keep chipping away at Liz.
You'll also notice that she is a speed boosting Beast Boost and not a special attack boosting Beast Boost, which made it kind of hard for her to stack the things the way she wanted to. Aurora being very brave with her defogs here, because obviously risking that Defiant Annihilate switch in.
Oh, yeah.
But every time here, like, Aurora's getting, like, just inches at a time, and it's just Steelix needed to be chipped at some point. And right now, it looks incredibly safe into this end game. Because now Aurora just needs to hope that Liz never reads her move ever, and that, like, the progress is so incremental that maybe she can get it in range of, like, a crit flamethrower or something.
Yeah, and that's likely the case. But Soned comes in reading that switch and just knocks out Volbeat. And at this point, Nagano just has to click Draco Meteor. That's doing nothing.
Yeah, no dice from Aurora's Naganadel, putting her at a really tough 0-2 going into week 3, having been upset back-to-back by Black Captain and now Liz. That's hard, man. part of you as a spectator is like, oh yeah, upset, get out, beat Aurora. She's like the best in the division. Yeah. But like, I don't know, part of me is just like, Aurora works so hard on Double Dip, man. I wish she was doing better. Like, and you hate because I've been on the other side of this, where I'm sitting at 0-2, and everybody just looks at you all sad, like, oh, poor guy, oh. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't want to be poor guy. I want to be like big champion guy. And Aurora not looking like big champion girl this time around. This is still super possible for her to pull back.
Yes.
Aurora's a great player. She is seeded to beat everybody in her division. So if she just plays her seed and beats the other 5 people she has to fight, she'll be fine. But she does not, have her hardest matches behind her. You know what I mean? Like, This is going to be a struggle. She's going to have to play rock solid. And
she's supposed to play Bananas.
Maybe... Yeah, she has to play Bananas still, which is going to be tough. And frankly, with Aurora, like, she's just maybe got one more loss in her before it gets really dangerous, especially with how many upsets and how many bad tiebreakers she has now. Like, she's probably going to be fighting for a 3rd or 4th spot in playoffs, if I had to guess. And that's where the differential and those ties are going to really matter.
Yeah. But well done to Liz on being a 2-0 as a new player, and the whole thing is kind of crazy. And I would love to take the top half if you take the bottom half of the Rocket division.
Absolutely, let's hear it.
All right, we got the Martian Mantines, Black Captain at 2-0 at +8 into week 2 is such a good differential, actually. Liz, Sunshine State Smolivs at a 2-0 +4. Menma, the Minnesota Jynx at 1-1 and 3. And Bananas of the Don't Drop That Dedennes 1-1 at 2.
Going into the bottom half of the division, these people would not qualify for playoffs if the cutoff were today. We have got leading the pack Bidwell, Bees, Guru Trooper at a 1-1 dead even 0 differential. Then we've got Nihilus of the Dallas Duckletts at a 1-1 -3. Aurora of the Hoensbroek Haunters and ASCII of the Philadelphia Phantumps tied for 7th at an 0-2 -7.
That's
let's not be all doom and gloom about Aurora here. We should also give our credit where it's due. Like, Liz, 2nd place, fairly comfortably in this division going into week 3. That's awesome, And she's got good tiebreakers. A good tiebreaker against Menma, who is probably also going to be vying for like a lower spot in playoffs, given his current record, versus like Aurora, who would also, given that she is such a good player, but also is now playing from so far behind, probably also going to be populating those same spots. Either she remains near the top of the pack and looks really safe for playoffs in the coming weeks, or if she starts like slipping a little bit, she's got some good advantages in those tiebreakers.
Yeah. And I'm just excited to see how this all shakes up, because we have these kind of extremes at the moment with differential. Nothing crazy yet, as you said earlier in the episode. Once you start getting to 0-3s or 0-4s into week 3, week 4, which are big turning points overall for a division, then things really start to you start to worry about your score, your differential, whatever, if you can even make playoffs in the first place around that time. But there's still a lot of possibilities here. All it takes is one good game for Aurora to be right back into, the mix with the other players.
Right. Like, if she finds a 6-0 somewhere, suddenly she's 1-2 -1. That is so doable. That is beyond doable. So, she is going to have to start focusing in on her differential, I think. And, in general, it's going to be tough on her. Nobody's out yet. Like, you're not screwed at 0-2. 2 losses and 5 wins is a great season and almost a shoo-in for playoffs with that kind of record. And that's still possible going into an 0-2 week 3. But it's not easy. I'm not going to beat around the bush here. She has got an uphill battle for the rest of this division. And frankly, Rocket looks exciting. Rocket's weird. Rocket's jank. The top 4 here does not look the way that I was expecting it to. And I'm really excited to see how it all shakes out.
Yeah, the fact that Bananas is in 4th place in the Rocket division is so crazy.
Yeah, Bananas just barely keeping his head above water now. Again, it's still early into the divisions, anybody's game, but, you got to start looking out, because by week 3, you're going to start seeing these trends, and people are going to start kind of calcifying their position if they don't really start making some plays.
Yeah, for sure. But you know what? I think that's going to have to wrap it up for the day, because we got another week of matches to go through. But I want to thank everyone so much for joining us in this review and overlook of Rocket Division as we looked into week 2. We'll be back into week 3, of course, next week. But if you want to catch the other matches there's some cool stuff going on. Because, like, I don't know if you noticed this, Spood, but, like, Aqua being, like, funny with its differential this week and, like, the scores is kind of crazy. I don't know if you noticed that.
Aqua is looking interesting in a very different way than Rocket is looking interesting right now. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but I'd highly recommend you go and check out the Aqua recap with Cabral and Aurora.
Yes, that is the case, and I hope you catch Nick and Spood over in the Magma division and watch my match, because there's some silly things happening over there.
And I would be remiss not to tell you that Skull was pretty exciting this week, so I'd recommend you check out, frankly, all of... yeah. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for having me, Cabral. And I hope you all have a lovely time and best of luck with your week 3 matches.
Woo! Let's go!